a great amount of enthusiasm in this House, with a very large cross-section of members wanting to participate in this debate. This, sir, itself is an evidence of the sense of responsibility which members of Parliament really have in responding to the challenges as they emerge before the country. So in the last 2 weeks, in events arising out of Shri Anna Hazare's fast, this is actually the third debate. The first one, I must concede, was confrontationist on the day when Shri Anna Hazare was unfortunately and regrettably arrested by the government. In the second debate earlier this week, we debated with a great sense of maturity as to how to deal with this larger problem of corruption and graft in Indian society. It was a little less confrontationist. Today, really, the maturity of all of us and our democracy is on trial. There is a popular agitation, a movement going on in the country, which has sent to us a message very loud and clear that people of this country are no longer willing to accept the present status quo. The present status quo is that corruption in many areas has almost become a way of life. People in higher positions have a tendency to get away. There are cover-ups. They have various instruments, technicalities available to them where accountability norms are not very high. And there are lower areas of society where the average man has to confront with corruption really almost as a way of life. We discussed all these areas 2-3 days ago, and I don't intend to repeat them. So in the course of this entire agitation and the debate that it has thrown up in the last few weeks, we've also heard some not so complimentary statements made about Parliament and MPs. I would only urge my colleagues that our sense of maturity must compel us not to be provoked by any one of them. It's our actions and how we respond to them which will be the best response of Indian democracy to all these statements which are made. And when we decide, and today we are not legislating, we are only deciding the basic parameters of what should be the kind of integrity institution in India, which is the Lokpal, and we are also deciding as to which are the areas which must come within its scope and which should be kept outside. I think we must be guided by two basic principles. The first is that time has now come to raise the bar of accountability in Indian society. Routine structures have not succeeded till to date. They have not responded to the enormity of the challenge that we face. And the second is that when we think in terms of a scheme how to deal with it, we don't overreact or go in for knee-jerk reactions where we find solutions which are not consistent with our constitutional scheme. And therefore, even though I don't think in this case we are legislating in haste, we must remember that we must be guided predominantly by two vital considerations, which is the need for probity and the need to coexist with the constitutionalism as far as India is concerned. Sir, the whole concept of a Lokpal was first borne out when the Administrative Law Commission, Reforms Commission, in 1966 had recommended the establishment of a Lokpal and a Lokayukt bill. In fact, it is very little known that at that time, the bill was actually introduced in 1968 by none other than Shri Y.B. Chavan. And while introducing the bill, the statement of objects was, and reasons was, that the efficiency and integrity of public services should be kept in mind. So this whole question of citizens' charter or public grievances is not a new concept which is being brought into the system today. This was a part of the concept which was recommended by the Administrative Law Commission, Reforms Commission,
Yes.
way back in 1966. And the 1968 bill, 1st May 1968 to be precise, which Mr. Y.B. Chavan introduced, this concept was very much there. It had two concepts, and that perhaps may help Mr. Pranab Mukherjee to find an answer to the questions he has raised before us. Public grievances were a part of it. The concept of lokayukt in the states was also a part of that 1968 bill. It's not something which has now been taken out of the hat and suddenly we are confronted with.